Hi everybody, how are you? It's Mike Andrew, once again providing a short video with practical insights as it applies to business and leadership. Today I want to talk about the notion of strategic thinking. Strategic thinking. Why do I want to talk about that? As always, by the way, these are my personal views, so I always welcome people to agree or disagree. I think strategic thinking is one of those concepts that's often misunderstood. It's a very common leadership competency in most companies. But I think it's always often misunderstood. We generally, a lot of times I hear people refer to it as strategy development, creating a strategy. That might be part of it, but that's not what it is day to day. Strategic thinking to me is a day-to-day thing. You know, look at those people that are on the ground, say in sales. They see what's going on in the marketplace, and they see if the way our company, the strategy that our company has developed is making sense, or it needs some adjustment, it needs some evolution. That's why you'll often hear things like strategy refresh or strategy 2.0. You know, people on the ground, in the reality, they're working in the reality of the business, they see what's going on. If you watch like sports, from America, the National Football League, every team goes into the game with a strategy. And sometimes that strategy is thrown right out the window because they have to adapt and adjust on the spot or during halftime based on what the competitor is doing. So strategic thinking to me is not about developing strategy. It's partly that. I once heard a person give advice on someone to develop to increase their strategic thinking, to develop a strategic plan. I disagreed. You know, most of us don't develop strategic plans. We might develop a yearly plan for our department in the context of the company strategy. That's strategic thinking, by the way. Here's another thought I have. Also very common in companies with leadership competencies is not only strategic thinking, but performance drive or results orientation. My personal opinion, give me performance drive or results orientation any day. Any day. You know, I remember we had one guy, we were interviewing him into a very, very select program in our company. And he assessed very high on performance drive and results. I love that. He scored low on strategic thinking. And that became a barrier for some of the people on the selection committee. And my argument was, I'll take performance and results any day. And chances are he's doing that performance and results in the context of the direction of the organization. When confronted with this dilemma, this person we're talking about, he answered it beautifully, masterfully. He said, you know, I think I agree with that. I believe I am good at driving results. And I think I need a lot of improvement in my strategic thinking. But I'm hoping that's what this program will help me do. He's in the program, and he's one of the stars in the program. So, you know, just some other thoughts around strategic thinking. You know, I remember Jack Welch. I remember one of his quotes. He says, in real life, strategy is pretty straightforward. You pick a general direction, and you implement like crazy. He didn't use the word crazy. He used a different word, but I'm being polite here on video. And, you know, Lou Gerstner from IBM, you know, formerly from IBM, always talked about successful companies out-execute their competitors. So you need that performance drive, that results orientation, which is part of strategic thinking, in my opinion. It's keeping the big picture in mind, keeping the end in mind, as they say, as one of the 7 habits. You know, the field that I'm in, leadership development, to me, you cannot create an effective, high-impact, relevant leadership development program unless you develop it in the context of the company's overall strategy. In other words, what are those 3 or 4 capabilities we have to excel at in order to be who we say we want to be, in order to realize our strategy, execute our strategy? That's strategic thinking, not necessarily developing the strategy, but always thinking of the big picture of the company, keeping that end in mind, and making sure that everything we do, including execute, is in the context of that big picture, in the context of that direction. And those on the ground, especially in sales, if we find that the strategy isn't working, then we adapt, we readjust to make it consistent with the realities of what's going on in the marketplace. I hope this made sense. I hope you found this worthwhile. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.